Hello, everybody. It is good to be back on this frankly, a very cold winter evening. Oh, it's not super cold, I would say. It's not the 70, 80 degree weather we had last week in certain parts of the Feywild. I think it's like 40, 50 degrees right now, which is what it should be in the middle of March and early spring. But how are you all doing this evening? Sup, bench? Well, sup, bench to you too. Who do we got in chat tonight? We got Indy, we got Cinder Kiwi, we got Dead. Oh, it's good to have people in tonight. So, I've decided on doing something a wee bit differently than my normal video game streams. I've been wanting to do some more hand cam streams for a while now, but frankly, the workshop has been hella cold, so my hooves and my tatas have been freezing over properly, and I didn't really want to spend like 3-4 hours sitting down here at a time being the frigid ice cube woman. So let's get down to it, shall we? So, first of all, stick. Yes, I am touching my wood tonight. Oh shit, it's the woman's hands. But, tonight, we are actually doing some wand crafting. Now, I started to do this on a whim. I found there was a pine stick a bunch of pine sticks that had fallen down in the winter time, and I didn't want them to go to waste for like mulch or something, for when the pixies used to build their houses and bonk each other with it. But I decided to let me try to make something that I've been wanting to do for a while now. So, we're making wands. Stick! Firmly grasp it! Oh yes. I'm gonna firmly touch the shaft. That maybe not with bare hands, that's why I get splinters. Touching your stick on camera? Oh, Indy, wouldn't you like me to touch your stick? But we have our base for the wand, our unfinished wand. I'm hoping that we actually get through 2 of them this evening. I'm hoping, but if we only get through 1, that's okay. I don't quite mind. So those are the 2 that we're going to be working with. However, I do have a couple that I have already finished sanding. A user has disconnected. I killed him. Guys, I killed my mod. How do you kill a Draco Lich? How do you kill a Draco Lich? He's already dead. Regardless of whether or not I have a corpse on my hand, I have already worked on a bunch of wands of various sizes, lengths, and girths. I think the first one that I worked on was this one. This was a piece of river birch that there was a bunch of yard work going on in the Ashroot Court, and including getting river birch, getting some of the spare loose branches trimmed. I decided to take one of the branches and carve a nice wand out of it. I personally like how thin this one is, because as you can see, it fits my hand quite nicely. However, I do have a red cedar one. I can guarantee you it's red cedar even though the wood doesn't look red. Red cedar gets its name actually from the underwood, so that layer between the bleached wood here and the bark. That's where it gets the name red cedar from. If I smell it, it still smells like cedar. Hello, I lurk. The taxman demands my information. Oh no, not the taxman! No, Maka, no! coming in, Maka. Enjoy your lurky-loo. Fits right in your side, your hand, just like Indy's dick. Wouldn't you like to know how well it fits in my hand, Mr. Dad? So that would be the bulk of them, however, I made a bunch ones out of pine. These are all pine branches that I have made. This one is of a... Oh, what is it? Ash. Oh, this one is made of ash. Ash trees are quite big. I had somebody joke saying that, Willow, are you making vampire steaks now? And my answer was, I might. I might be making vampire steaks now. No, I swear. I have to make sure that when I sand them, I don't put, like, a stabbing tip on them so they can't be used as weapons. A bunch of these are strangely shaped as well, because no branch is the same. They all curve differently. I have ones that are straight. I have ones that are more crooked, such as the red cedar one, which has a smaller, thinner handle. But those are the finished ones that we have so far. I'll put those ones to the side. Now I know I've been posting these in the Thornwoods course Discord server, but I have also finished the Raven Skull reliquaries. Let me get them to face you guys, because they're also kind of relevant to today's stream. So I've made these a while ago, and I am super, super proud of all of them. I saw on my socials that someone made these really cool resin, I want to say, no, it was ceramic raven skulls. They're like twice the size of these. And I couldn't find the resin ones that they were using in the tutorial. So I got myself a silicone mold on Etsy, and with some air dry cement clay, which actually works wonders, I made a bunch of these little guys, which are all themed off of various ancient world deities and mythological figures. So this one, I believe, is Morrigan. Let me get a good close-up of Morrigan. All of the reliquaries do have these eyes in them. Those are just aquarium gems that I have painted on the back. They're actually pretty heavy, too. They're a good, like... I don't know how much they are, but since they're made of solid cement, they do weigh a good bit. So, that was Morrigan, Celtic goddess of sovereignty, battle, and war. This one, Indy, I'm sure you recognize. This one is Apollo, Greek god of the sun and music. I decided to make his sigil on the top a set of arrows as well as a lyre, with his eyes being bright yellow and having a sun motif running around the sockets. This one is Odin. I decided to put his signature Valknut sigil and one of the runes associated with him. Odin is fun because on one side he has a very normal blue eye. However, the other side is the eye that he lost to gain the gift of prophecy and foresight. I'm actually really proud of how that blind eye came out. This one is Lilith, who is a vampiric demon from Hebrew culture. She was one of the first ones that I did along with Lady Morrigan over here. I'm quite happy with how the subtlety of the blood splatters has come out. And then this was the most recent one, which was just a general use item of worship representing the god and goddess figures that a lot of witches and pagans worship. So I decided to include the horned god sigil, which is a circle with a crescent moon, and the triple goddess sigil, which is a full moon and 2 crescent moons on the side. And then I decided to give her, well, them, these really pretty green eyes. And as you can tell, I've marked all of them on the bottom with a date and my personal seal of excellence, so you know this is a Willow original. I don't take kindly to AI bullshit. But let me move these guys to the side then. Stunning! Aw, thank you, Anna. Hi, Anna. How are you doing? We're not even to the main show of tonight. We got wood. We got lots of wood. Let me put some of the finished ones over here for reference. Now, I usually sit outside to do these, but it's raining, and I really don't want to sit outside in the muck and gloom doing these. Occasionally, I will have to get up to clean off the table, so please bear with me when I have to do that. Now, you might be thinking, Willow, are there any special tools that you use for your woodworking crafts? And I can distinctly say, no, not really. Despite being an Archfae, I do not necessarily need expensive tools for my woodworking. Like, I literally went to a store and I bought just a very simple utility knife that you can change out the blade when it gets dulled. And that's about the only things I use for any of my woodworking is my knife and sometimes my hand planer for my staves, which I might show off one in progress later tonight, depending on how I feel. But the one thing you need to remember about working with wood is that every piece acts a little bit differently. It's kind of like having people in your life all with different personalities. Every piece of wood that I tend to work with, they all have different... This is gonna sound nutty. Every time I work with a branch for my staves or a wand, it always gives me a sense of what it wants at the end of the day. So they kind of talk to me, which is a little bit weird. I will admit, from people who are outsiders listening in for the first time. Oh yes, the tree woman who can listen to trees and wood in her spare time. Who would have thought? But all of the wands will hopefully look different, because I know one of them wants to be black. I think another one says it wants to have dragon scales on it. I'm not sure. I have to go back and listen back to the tree spirits on each one of them. Now, usually I do debark them shortly after I get them off of the forest floor. I did say forest floor. I do not cut any branches while they are still on the trees. I only take things that are on the ground, whether they were chopped off by landscapers or a particularly bad windstorm. Like, I will never just go into the woods with a saw and just find a branch that I like, be like, yes, I'm gonna take you for myself because I am a greedy bastard. No. Wrong. Respect the nature. The only exception I can maybe make is if a tree is being choked by ivy or something like that. Because if it's being choked out by ivy, it's probably slowly dying already. And the least you can do is alleviate a little bit of whatever it's suffering from. Note, when you do go gathering raw wood in the forests or wherever you might be, always wear gloves. Always wear gloves, always wear head coverings, because you never know if there's ticks or insects or anything like that in the underbrush where you will be. Like, every time I go hiking, I pretty much have 2 pairs of pants on. I've got I wear gloves and like 2 hats just to make sure that my long, luscious locks don't get a case of the infected with ticks. There was one time that I decided with one of my family members to clean up a bunch of garbage that a bunch of mortals had left nearby for Earth Day. And we had gotten ticks all in our hair and our clothing, setting the entire rest of the court into a tizzy. We pretty much had to spend the rest of the day in solitary confinement that day. But that was not fun. I pretty much had to sit in the shower for like 3 hours to make sure all of the ticks were dead. And even then, I'm like, I'm gonna sit in my room for the rest of the day, okay? I'm not proud of what I did. I do it to make things better, maybe. I do it for better things. I do it to suffer. Now, usually the wood now, I don't know what kind of wood this one is. Like, where we are, there's a lot of red cedar, though I don't think this is red cedar, because if you look at you can't really see it very well on camera, but if you look at the bark on the underside of the external bark, it doesn't have that signature red cedar color. And when I say red cedar, it's not like this color. That's artificial red. It's like a rust color. Think like the color of Mars. Not Mars bars, the planet. The planet where we send our rovers to. I'd be so paranoid there would still be a tick after that. Oh yeah. No. We were very paranoid about that for like a good 2 days afterwards. Like, we did go to the herbalist and did get a tick-killing shampoo, so that way we made sure everything was dead. But we quickly learned our lessons. I quickly learned my lessons, maybe. So now whenever I go harvesting, I have to be extra careful with how thick and luxurious my hair can be. I mean, I'm pretty sure I have, like, birds roosting in my hair occasionally. Maybe rats. It's why some people call my hair an absolute rat's nest. I take care of my hair. I'm not that in disarray. At least I don't think I am. This branch seems to be working pretty okay. I did pre-soak the ones that we're working with tonight, though, in some water. And that is actually why I went upstairs before to get some water. So that way, if it didn't quite work, now we're cooking with gas. In case it didn't quite work, then I could just soak it in hot water for like maybe 2 hours, and then come back to it the next day and work on it outside some more. Like I said, I usually do this outside with how messy it is. But I don't really feel like sitting out there in 50-degree weather today, and when it's, raining. And yes, this does take a while to do, because you have to scrape. You can't just take out massive chunks of the wood out at the same time. You will eventually have to do that in order to get the tip to the wands, but we are nowhere near that process. I also have to make sure that I don't, slice my fingers off and have to call the medics at last minute. That would be most unfortunate. But thankfully, I have not had too many accidents of nearly slicing my talons off. That's also why changing out the blade to your knives often is important, because in case you do accidentally nick yourself, you don't want to get an infection. I think the one time I did accidentally nick myself, it was like on a major vein in my hand, and it wouldn't stop bleeding for like an hour. But thankfully, I had just changed out the blade to my knife, I don't even think it was this knife. I think it was when I was working on Dungeons & Dragons miniatures one day, and I needed to cut the excess slag off of a metal mini. I don't have any unfinished metal ones right now, but I do have a shit ton of plastic miniatures, so maybe in the future we'll do a hand cam painting stream of some D&D miniatures. That could be fun. I do think I need to go and get some proper miniature paints, though, because all I have is, like, shitty art store acrylic, and you're not really supposed to use acrylic paint for miniatures. I guess if you really water them down, you can, but even then, like, it's not the right consistency or viscousness. Viscosity? Viscosity, there we go. I'm relearning my science terms. It doesn't have the right viscosity for miniature painting. Alright, so we have most of the outer and inner bark trimmed from this branch. I think this might be... Let me give it a sniff test. This might be oak. This might be oak of some kind. Because oak is a hardwood with pretty thick branches. A lot of the branches and what I work with, I generally don't know what type they are unless, like, I explicitly know what trees or what area they come from in the Thornwoods. Fey magic is weird like that, guys. You'd think I would have an easier time identifying the plants in my domain. Not really. When the Thornwoods is dark and spooky, you kind of lose any sense of what's what. I'm a summoner, not a druid, damn it. Like, usually when I soak them, they debark a lot quicker because they're wet and I can get all of the bark off. So I might let this one soak in my soaking tray. Give me 1 minute. Okay, so we have that one in the soak tray, which is just a plastic tray that I have from upstairs in the kitchen for cooking. I have another similar piece. I think it's from the same type of tree that the branch previously was from. I don't know. I did section these off already to show you where the handle is going to be, where the bulk of the shaft is going to be, and where I still need to trim it. I tend to leave a little bit at the top while I'm still whittling it down in case it breaks, so that way I can get a nice, clean, even cut. once I'm done doing that whole process, I go with my power sander, and for like a whole hour on end, I just go in a circle at the end so that way I can get a nice rounded tip. I'll also do that on the other end of the wand as well, because I don't need people stabbing each other with my wood. I mean, there's only one person who can stab me with their wood, and it's the moderator, but we don't talk about that on stream. We talk about that off. Okay, I think this one is a different type of wood because the bark kind of feels like a banana. God, I love the banana skin, though. Okay, ooh, look how good that rips off. That is a nice... Okay, I think this actually might also be red cedar. Actually, this might be pine. Let me do a sniff test. Doesn't smell like anything. So it's not pine. If it was pine, it would have resinous sap, but also be making me break out into hives after I handle it. It might just be doing that because it's wet? Ah, yes, you gotta really sniff the stick. Oh, definitely. Sometimes you have to do a sniff test. I mean, perception by scent is a thing in D&D. I don't have keen senses all the time. I have to, like, roll a perception based on scent. Oh, wow. Okay, that is... Look at that big slice! Oh, that was a good one. Man, I love slicing trees like I love slicing people's skin off and sacrificing it to the flayed ones below. That's some good shit. Okay, there we go. I did pre-cut some sections of this before, so that way it would be a little bit easier to carve. Now, I think I need to trim the handle down slightly more because I tried to measure it with my thumb. I measured this one about 2 thumbs high, but I think it should more be like a thumb and a half. It's a good thing that we have just a regular Sharpie that we can remeasure things out. So 1 thumb and then half thumb. Just mark where that is. That might go a little bit shorter. Yeah. We'll debark up to that point. What I do before I even start is I slice into the bark where I know the handle is going to be. This creates a separation edge, so that way it doesn't run down the rest of where the handle is, and I don't have to worry about shaving off like 3 or 4 inches of the handle. That did happen to one of the wands that I was making. It was this one. I had accidentally shaved the bark of the handle too low, and it's only like the size of my thumb, which isn't bad. Some people like their sticks a little bit on the thinner side. Lets you get a good grasp around it. Lets you firmly grasp it. Some people like a thin one. Other people's like something a little bit more girthy. There is no problem with your wand preference. Some girls like it thin, some like it thick, some like it fluid, some like it stiff. But a good wand, no matter how you handle it, is still a sacred tool at the end of the day. It is not meant to just be used to lollygag around. It is a tool for magical practitioners. So every time I do one of these wands and staves, I do treat it as respect. I do treat it with as much respect as I possibly can, because you're not just making a item, you're making a sacred tool for many practices. Hi, Willow! What did I just come into? First thing I heard was some like it's stiff. We're making wands tonight. I have been on a wand making frenzy, and I wanted to show you the process of how I whittle my wood. We gotta stick it to the man! We gotta stick it to the man, Mr. Dad! Oh yeah, we gotta stick it to him. We gotta read him a night-night story. We gotta tuck him into bed and kiss the homies goodnight. Totally, yeah! How are you doing, Dark Soul Dragon, though? I realize that I realize I can't do Macho Man Randy Savage, so I apologize to any of the Macho Man Randy Savage fans out there. But this one is peeling quite nicely. Now you'll see how it just comes off like a rotten banana peel. Some types of wood do peel easier than others. For example, when I was working with the pine wood, the pine shaved off really nicely. It was maybe sappy for like a good 2 days afterwards. But after it dried out and all the sap had been removed, it is like, you do not get a splinter when handling my wood. She's been on a stick making binge because she hasn't had indies for a hot minute. No, nuh-uh. I got my craving filled over the weekend. I'm good. I had plenty of indies spawned. Actually, in that case, it's more of a lance, if I do say so myself. Indy's not a straight-up spellcaster. He's a melee person by nature. Lol, good to know. I'm doing good. This looks interesting. Thank you. I'm glad you find it interesting. I have the first one that we were working on soaking in the bin right now because the wood wasn't quite soft enough to work with, at least to the degree that I would like it to. So, you see how we're leaving this little nubbin on for the time being? It's so that way we can trim it down as needed. I feel like this one is a little bit on the bigger side, as you can tell by these two next to each other. They're about the same thickness, though, so this one will probably be trimmed down to around here, and then whittled some more outside with my power sander and a Dremel. Good to know for Zenta as reference. Is Gabby going to be a lucky girl? I don't know. That's not a question to ask the dungeon mistress. That's something to ask Indy. I don't have say in what his character's wand looks like or acts like. But since we are in the talk of crafting stuff, I do have, and you know what? I will snooze this. You know what? I do have an announcement for all of you lovely lads, lasses, and wisps of Thornwood's court. Come again? No. Oh, I'll make you come again, Indy. But, without further ado, we are going to be having another subathon starting April 1st and going until the very end of the month. I am running my springtime subathon, which is going to have a creative bent to it. So all month, to honor the creative spirit, April's subathon theme will be themed around artistic pursuits. No, you Uno reverse. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. I beat you in Uno way too many times. You can't Uno reverse me. But we have a subathon going in April with various goals that you, the community, will have the chance of obtaining for yourself. 5 subs, we have our first sorcery adoption ceremony of the month. 15 subs, I'll be designing D&D monsters off of anyone who subscribes. 30, we've got another sorcery adoption ceremony. 50 subs, we've got an Oracle card art raffle, because you guys seem to love my Oracle cards that much when I decide to stream them. I am trying to revise a bunch of them with an updated style, but you guys seem to really like the one that I stream. And then 60 plus, I will be doing a mini campaign for D&D 5th edition for my V-Weird gen mates. So V-Weird is a VTuber group that me, Indy, Gormagala Girl, our good friend Kyrie are all a part of. And it's all good. We're all Gucci in the neighborhood. But 60 plus subs, I will be doing a miniature campaign with my V-Weird gen mates. Well, shit, I might need to sub for once to have a monster after me. Oh, wait, already subbed. Oh, no, so this is in April. This is for the April subathon. When March, you can save your money until then. Also, hi, Werecrab! There are a few caveats to the subathon, though, so 1 reward per subscriber. I don't need multiple people claiming prizes. Gifted subs will earn more entries for a reward, so let's say that you gift 5 subs, you will get 5 times to win. I'll have a picker wheel that I will spin, and you will have 5 parts on the picker wheel, so 5 times to get a prize. If you do not win a raffle at any point, your entries will be moved to the next round of redeems. So say if you do not get the 30 sub award, all of your entries will be then put to the 50 one. Reward receivers will be determined at random per tier to make it fair. And you will have a week to claim your raffle prize. You just need to contact me through Twitch for this, or if you're part of the official Discord server, you can reach me there as well. Making a monster based off of me? Oh, those poor players! But this is in April, so you have time to get ready for that. I know a certain Noctiv goes crazy with sub redeems if I'm playing Deltarune, so that'll be fun. But look forward to the April subathon, because I definitely know I am. Briar, bring us back to the content, why don't you? Meow. April is your birthday month. Oh, well then I hope you win something for your birthday then. Let's get back to whittling my wood. Okay, this one is definitely acting much nicer than the other one. I can actually slice and dice decently sized chunks of the wood. I still don't know what kind of wood this is. It's I believe it is some kind of hardwood. You can tell that there's 2 types of wood. There's softwood and hardwood. There's softwood has more space between the cells of the wood, so it's softer and more malleable. Hardwood does not. You can tell the difference by simply putting your thumbnail against the underwood and pressing down very, very slightly. If it leaves an indentation that's fairly noticeable, it's softwood. If it doesn't, it's hardwood. That doesn't necessarily mean softwood is any more or less durable as hardwood, because the pine wands that I have made, pine is actually a softwood. These are quite light and quite airy. They don't hurt your hand at all. Question, what if you don't have fingernails? If you don't have fingernails, then you can use something like a pencil or a knife. Just don't press it too hard. Or long enough nails. Like I said, anything that has an edge to it would work. But it only really works after you get the external bark off. Like, if you're pressing something into the outer bark, it's not going to make any sort of indentation. This part protects the tree. This part protects the actual wood. That's the purpose of bark. You have to strip it off before you get to the nice white stuff underneath. That is when you can really tell if it's a hard or a softwood. I typically don't use softwood for my staves, just because I am a little bit hesitant for that. When I said that softwoods are not necessarily any weaker than hardwood, I do tend to save softwood for wands, because I don't want the constant stress of someone's body weight from like 100 to 300 plus pounds crushing on a single choke point of a staff. There is a right and a wrong way for handling the staffs, though. Every time that I am at a show vending my wares to the other courts at the Goblin Market, I always show people the proper way of handling one of our staves, because they take a long time to make. I think on average, depending on how complex a staff design is, can take anywhere from 3 to 7 days, depending on what I want it to look like. Most of the time it does come just from debarking and sanding it to an uncannily smooth edge. The decorating usually doesn't take too long. You know what? Let me show one of the examples of one of them that did take a while to make. It's right over here, so don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. Ugh. Just gotta get to the staff rack and not beat someone up with it. Alright. So I haven't showed the staves I make. This is an example of one of the ones that did take quite a long time. If I could show it off in full, you would understand, but this particular staff, let me get a good view, has wood-burned dragon scales down the entire top length of it. And that was all done by hand. I did not pre-sketch those. I did not laser etch those. I did not pre-sketch them. That was all by hand with a wood burner. I also have on the tops and bottom, I have Celtic Ogam, which is the Celtic tree zodiac. On the... Okay, I have my personal sigil at the top. And then I continued the wood burning work down the shaft. And I shaded it this beautiful red cedar color. It is absolutely stunning. And to this day, I think it is one of my crown jewels of my crafting career. I think it was also one of the first ones that I made when I really started taking staff making seriously. Believe it or not, the woodworking actually started out as a COVID-19 hobby. It's because we all needed to hide out in our hidey holes in our bunkers, and Isley, I decided to do some nature hikes and decided, hey, I could make something cool. I've always liked wizard staves. I bet you $5 that other people can. Question, I can't remember the name of the plant right now. You mean... Is it a plant or a tree? Plant, tree, shrub. I also do commissions for the stabs. I've had maybe like 2, 3 staff commissions. One was for a local owner who also lives in the Feywild, and he adores this staff that I made him. Let me hydrate. Thank you. Definitely needed that hydration. Also, if you do, I also might have a bag of chips eating in a little later, so if you hear me munching, you get to listen to the horrifying Willow ASMR. Plant back in Arizona that I know makes really good staff. If I ever find some, would you want it? I know the laws are around it, that you can't cut them down. You can only pick up the dead ones. Oh, what is it? Is it like... Is it because technically, is it an endangered species, or does it have to do more with, like, indigenous practice? Because I know there are some natural items like that you can get in Big Deep Doo-Doo if you're not indigenous, if you own it, like eagle feathers, but I think it's like in the agave or... Oh, you think it's cactus? I've never worked with cacti. I think it's more the endangered species. Okay, that checks out. If you learn more about what it is and give me some information, I wouldn't mind working on a trade with you. I will give you 2 level ups in Cadmorum if you send me 3 of these. I'm joking. I don't want to get in trouble if it is endangered. What branches? I have a couple of other branches over here that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them quite yet. I'm not sure if they are of quality to make into a staff, or if they're more broom stock. I do have a bunch of brooms as well that I have made. And the process for making those is similar to how I do the staves and the wands. The only difference is that I have them always be at a certain thickness, because brooms for witch practices tend to be on the fairly thin side. I don't know why. I think it's just a preference thing. I have 2 brooms though that are on the thicker side. Which ones were that? That was... Hold on, I'm looking at the 3 of them right now. There's a natural bleached wood, there's a blue ocean themed one, and a red and black fire spirit one. All of these items will have names, by the way. Now, you saw... Let me grab Draig for a minute. I need to update his price tag. But all of my brooms, my staves, and my wands all get these little price tags on them. And I word them as if they are Dungeons & Dragons magical items. So that way you can show up to your D&D game and be like, hey, I found this magic wizard stuff. Oh, hey, what's it do? Oh, it's called Draig. It requires attunement, 13 charges, regains 1d4 every dawn. Expend charges to cast Dragon's Breath fire damage, summon Draconic Spirit, a Chardalon Stride, find familiar, pseudo-dragon. All of my staves have descriptors like that. And I think that's a selling point that a lot of my clientele appreciates. Not all of them are D&D and tabletop players, but I would say a good 40-45% are at least a part of the TTRPG hobby. So it's very fun to roll up to your squad of wizards and be like, I cast Tungsten Ball Stack! With your actual wizard stick that you bring to session. I think I actually do have a funny story relating to selling my stabs. And Indy, I know I've told you this myself already, but it was the first time that I was vending as a witchy vendor. Up until that point, I've only really done, like, dice boxes and things. This was the first show I've ever done that had a witchy slant to it. So, I bought my stabs for the first time. I think there was, like, maybe only 10, 12 stabs that I bought that show. I sold out of all of them. And they're not cheap. They're anywhere from $50 to $125. Apparently, that's a really good price, considering I've seen some that are like $200-$300 with nowhere near the quality. But for one, I sold out of all of my stabs. I sold out of nearly almost all of my flower crowns, which, shocking. It was the first time I've ever made flower crowns as well. The funny part, though, and I still remember it to this day, a group of like 4 or 5 guys who did not look like the wizarding types at all. They looked like sports jocks or sports guys. They came up to the business, saw the stabs. There was like 4 or 5 of them, by the way. All of them were like 6 feet tall and over. All of these guys all purchased a staff for like $100 up. So from this small group, I made at least like $500 in one night at once. Nerds with money are scary. Occult practicing nerds with money are even more scary. How much do you like tea? Oh, I love tea. I love tea. At least like in the winter I do. In the spring, I don't tend to drink it. However, in the summer, I will make iced tea. Not like with Lipton brand bullshit. Ew, no. I will get like 2 or 3 tea bags. I will steep them in hot water, and then I will just put the water in the fridge to cool. And then I'll have tasty, like, acai blueberry iced tea for, like, the next week. How about teas, nuts? God damn it, Werecrab! God damn it, Werecrab. I should have a bonk emote for you. This is you. This is you. Dumb. D-U-M, dumb. Time to torture an Archfae? Oh, no. What are you gonna torture me with? Should I be worried? Oh god, what did you send me now, my guy? No more tea bags. Instant cup 20 cups of hotter, tastier tea. Reblog to kill a British person instantly. I mean, that doesn't necessarily kill me. Some people are just plain lazy. That's what I was just doing. I was checking my dims. My Dimsdale Dimmadim, some of the Dimsdale Dummadums. Like, unlike certain people, that does not hurt my head. I can understand some people are just bad at cooking. Most mortals I know are bad at cooking, for that matter. I am often worried by Mama Obiel saying, "Have you burned the castle down yet?" I'm 333 years old, woman. I haven't burned down the castle. I haven't been to fairy prison. I'm not a wanted criminal in the Fae realms. I think I'm good. I haven't been to Fae prison yet. How do you fuck up tea? Okay. How you fuck up tea? Certain teas have a longer or shorter steep time. If you have the tea steeping for too long, it can get bitter. Frankly, I don't notice the bitterness because I'm a bitter bitch. Also, I usually kill half the taste of tea with an entire lemon. That's not a joke. Like, people who have been around me know I will put an entire lemon in 1 cup of tea. It is actually horrifying. Now comes the fun part, is where you have to put your muscle into this, which I really can't do too much at the angle that I'm holding the stick at. In order to get that nice tapered point that the finished ones have, I have to be, like, really stabbing at the damn thing like the hash slinging slasher in order to do that. What's the point of tea if you just put so much lemon in it? Drink lemonade, woman. Lemonade has tons of sugar in it. That doesn't stop me from drinking a metric fuck ton of Diet Dr. Pepper, though. Which is probably, like, 10% of my blood at this point. My Archfae bloodstream is made of 10% Dr. Pepper, 10% skooma, and 80% you don't want to know. Nah, the rest of my Dr. Pepper is you shut your whole mouth. I'm kidding. I like Dr. Pepper better than, like, Pepsi or Coke. I think it has more flavor. I think, like, one time I was on a trip with Indy into the material plane of humans, and we stopped at a convenience store. They had Dr. Pepper barbecue sauce. Now, I'm not gonna say the name of the convenience store chain so I don't dox myself. But, Indy, you know what I'm talking about for our trip to the Ren Fair. Huh? No. Hear me out. There was a convenience store chain that me and Indy went to, like, twice. Different trips, but there was a convenience store chain we went to, and they had Dr. Pepper flavored barbecue sauce. It absolutely blew my fucking mind when I saw it the first time. I was just kind of standing there at the counter, like with the AOL dial-up noise in the background. Mexican Coke is peak. True. Oh god. What? I personally like Doritos. I'm probably butchering it. I think it's called, like, Doritos. It comes in a glass bottle, and they have a really good mandarin orange soda. Whenever I see that mandarin orange soda, I will open up my coin purse and be like, take my money now. I'm gonna engorge myself with a 20-pound burrito and a metric truck ton of orange soda. Give this to me in my mouth hole. You mean Doritos? No, hold on. This. It's spelled like this. I don't know how to pronounce it right, and I know if I have anyone from Latin America who listens to me pronouncing it, they are probably gonna throw la chancla at me. Like, I don't see it at too many places. Like, there's a burrito place that I used to often go to. Doritos. There we go. Yeah, that's why I said, do do not hate me for my mispronunciation, because I cannot roll my R's. That is why I failed Spanish class. Whenever I try to roll my R's, it just comes out like I'm trying to start up a lawnmower or my car really badly. It's like, Doritos. I know it's like, Doritos. See, I can't do it. I can't roll my R's. I can dot my I's and cross my T's, but I can't roll my R's. And that is why I fail almost every single language course I took in my life. Honestly, that's part of the reason why learning as many languages in a tabletop setting is my power fantasy. Most people like, oh, I want to do like maximum amounts of crit damage. I want to learn 9th level spell slots. I want to learn every single language known to mankind. Which is stupid. It's okay, boo, you have the past to mispronounce it this one time, says Spider. Okay, I'm glad I have the language pass. Did you know that the uvula is the reason why you roll your R's, and if you get that surgically removed, you can have French surgically removed from you? I should say this to every French person and have them clutch their baguettes in shock. No, sacre bleu! Ho 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 ho, oui baguettes! God, I bet Jacques the Whipper would just punch me for that. Though I don't think Jacques the Whipper is even French, which is great. Come on, stupid saucy minx. Shh! It's okay, baby girl. I'll be gentle with your wood. Oh, Willow-senpai! Oh, not so hard! It's okay, baby girl. I'll be gentle with your shaft. Why do I feel like someone in the background is typing, ma'am? Or clipping that shit. What the fuck? There it is. There we are. What the fuck was that? Listen, you haven't heard me tormenting Garrett Strange with our Nightingale streams. I legitimately vocally killed him. The last time we did a Nightingale playthrough, which I want to do some more of with people. Indy, can you please give a shout out to Garrett Strange VT, our favorite hex-slinging cowboy? I genuinely had to pause my game and just rub my temple because of that. It's a Willow stream. What do you expect, crap man? Listen, if Overlord was here, I would do the other thing that legitimately breaks his cranial space and rewires his circuitry, but I don't think he is here. I'll save that for off stream. I'll save that for Smash or Pass night. I expected a calmer level of Sussy Baka. Calmer? My brother in lycanthropy. Calm, sussy levels? Do you know who I am? I am the matriarch of the Ashroot Court. I am the woman Willow Obeeld, Scholar O'Dream and Nightmare, embodiment of fear and lust. In all capitals. How can I be calm levels of Sussy Baka on stream when I literally am the embodiment of desire? You clearly haven't been hanging around me enough to figure this out, my My power fantasy in D&D is just characters like Gabby. So, being strong golden retriever women who can probably kick your ass into next Sunday and then some. Got it. Like, I think I'm actually well on my way with my current character to learning all of the language, because we actually just had our Sunday game, me and Indy. We get to play low-level monsters progressing up in CR difficulty, and every time we level up a monster, we can either go to a lower CR creature, or spend XP to go to a higher CR monster. Currently, I am a level 2 summoner, level 2 fairy dragon. My goal is to get all the languages. My level 2 to 3 monster level, I am probably going to be taking Dryad, so I can get Speech of Beast and Leaf, which will let me talk to plants and animals as if we all shared a language. 4th level is the one I'm looking forward to. 4th, there is a little known monster from 2025's version of D&D called the Hound Archon, which is a CR for medium celestial, I believe. Their abilities are fine. They've got like standard celestial abilities, a sword attack, a bite attack, yada yada. But the reason why I want to take it is that under the language section, it simply says all. So I am going to take the ability to know all languages from the Hound Archon to fulfill my power fantasy, which I am excited about. So by taking this along with the ability of Speech of Beast and Leaf, no one is going to be able to backtalk behind Tana's back. No one. You will not be able to backtalk about your party status to me. I think, Mr. Rancor, that you look quite drab today. Your quality and fashion sense is as bad as your manners, it seems. As I drink my teacup with the utmost precision. Reminded me to hydrate, then. Marcus has just been having a better time away from the party and is potentially going to become... How do you potentially become an angel? Well, I guess like through, like a divine blessing or something, I would imagine? Wait. I know that... Are you playing Grim Hollow? Because I know that in the Grim Hollow books in the world, that they do have transformations that players can gain, and I believe one of them is Angel. Aha! I knew it. I knew you were playing Gloomhaven. The only time that I interacted with anything from Gloomhaven content, one of the transformations was for Fae. But that campaign didn't end very well. But my current games are way better. I've got Cadmorum, I've got the monster campaign, and it's all good. Here is something I have learned over probably like 10-15 years of playing various TTRPGs of various kinds. No campaign is better than a bad campaign. Never once think that you will be better off having a bad DM. Never think that a bad game is better to handle than not having a game at all. I've learned this the hard way. Several times, for that matter. One of them was when I was just starting to learn how to play TTRPGs. This was back in college, by the way, when I started to take an honest-to-God earnest interest in it. One of the first games that I had been invited to was Pathfinder. Which, okay, I've heard of Pathfinder, and I was at least vaguely familiar with it. I've never played it before. So I get to the session, and I'm thinking there's gonna be like, 2 or 3 other people. DM said, I'm willing to teach new people how to play Pathfinder. I'm like, okay, cool. This should be pretty good then. There is like 10 other people that have been invited to this Pathfinder game. There's like me and 9 other college strangers. All of these strangers have played Pathfinder before, and I am the only person who has not. I only stayed 2 sessions of that game before fucking leaving because they kept on over talking each other. I couldn't get a say in, and I frankly did not know anything about what was happening. No one was willing to teach me the mechanics of the system, and it was a all around shit show, to say the least. I was very out of my element. But then I started learning how to DM fifth edition, and that is where I cut my teeth on the cutting room floor as being a DM. And now, amongst pretty much all of my friends at the time, I essentially became a forever DM because I was the only one willing to learn the system properly. And again, my first campaign, I don't think I was a very good DM. I made up a lot of shit on the fly. Maybe I was a little bit too lenient as well. But it was a good learning experience. Campaign didn't finish because college does things to college, so... But I'm still in contact with those people today. My friend Technomancer actually was one of my first players. Alright. So, we have the bulk of what we needed to debark on this particular piece of wood. I can't really carve too much more of it until I have time to sit outside and just, like, really go at it. So this one, I think, for the most part, is... Let me check on that one that is having a hot water bath real quick. Hold on, I gotta dry it off. Alright, I'm back. I don't know why this one is so damn dusty right now. Probably because it was shedding a bunch of its mortal husk. Marcus can now manifest from all objects out of pure shadow and can teleport from shadow to shadow or dim light to dim light, darkness to darkness. Ooh, that sounds fun. So this was the one that was soaking for, like, the past, I want to say 30 minutes to an hour. And you can pretty much see how much easier it is to strip the bark off of this thing. The longer you leave it in a soaking bath, the easier it will be to strip down all of the external bark that you don't need. Though I wouldn't recommend leaving in the water for, like, overnight, because then it's going to get too soft. And has a nerve pinch, which is just him punching them and the nuts are paralyzing them. Oh, so he's learned the art of Fushigi. Oh, Fushigi? You mean that little thing with the balls? Oh, Fushigi! God, you chuckle fucks gave me that animation, and now I can't go anywhere without seeing it and hearing it in my head. It's all your fault! Knock, it's all your fault! I might need to change out the blade. Oh, Fushigi! Werecrab exactly knows what I'm talking about. God, I'm pretty sure that the Ashroot Court has one brain cell and is fighting for third place affectionately. Hydration. Fushigi means his class is ninja. Or monk. Or monk. Ninja's not a class, though. Ninja would be like rogue. Well, rogue mixed with monk. Don't mind me, I'm taking a protein chip break. I just found these ones at the store today. They're this really tasty salsa verde ones. Normally I get the buffalo chicken or the chili lime. But I decided to try a new one today. Homebrew class. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Oh. Come on. I'm eating my snack. Oh. Ah, yes, the real streamer experience. Willow O-Wield ASMR eating noises. I'm not going to torment you guys to that. I'm not doing it. I'm not that mean. I could probably start whittling this one down to a point if I change out the blade. Which I can do. So you just press this little button right here, and it ejaculates the blade pretty quickly. It's nice, though, that because what I can also do is flip it around and use the opposite side of the blade that wasn't being used. So I have two uses of it rather than one. It's just a bitch and a half sometimes to get back into the slot. Because I have to hold it down, I have to make sure that I jam the stupid thing back into what from whence it came. It's supposed to be easy, I'm just really inept at it. Hold on. I'm gonna try to do this without slicing my hand. I gotta do this. Hold this down. It's not hard. There we go. Just like that. And now I've got it back in the slot. I think it's the yucca plant. Oh. Is yucca endangered? Hold on, is yucca a tree? Got back with my stepmom, she thinks it's that one for the staffs. Is yucca a tree? I think it is a tree. I'm not familiar with plants from the Southwest. I'm only really familiar with ones from the material Northeast. So yucca, I know of yucca. I know that people do make yucca fries. But there might be different species of yucca. I thought, yucca was, almost like a potato. Evergreen perennial shrub, says Google. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm thinking of something wrong, because I know people do make yucca fries. I've never had yucca fries before, but I have had cactus fruit. I have had cactus fruit and nopal for I want to say a quesadilla. I've had cacti quesadillas before. Now this comes... Mama and Papa O-Wield think I'm really weird for liking cactus fruit. They're the ones who say, Willow, you don't like steak or hamburgers, and yet you'll eat a fucking cactus. Yes, I will. Because most of the stuff you guys eat normally, for your big fancy carb-filled dinners, I can't eat. I love prickly pear. Oh my god! Motherfucker! Fireball! Oh my god! Aphelion! My darling moth Archfae! Indy, can we please get a shout out for Celestial Aphelion? My good friend from Illyria. Celestial Aphelion is an Archfae of reincarnation, and they are a precious creature. Lizard. Now I just need the one of fish. Hi, Celestial Aphelion, Grandpa Noggle Juan, thank you for joining the Thornwoods cult. Hopefully you are doing good this evening, my darling. What were you playing tonight? I didn't get a chance to see what you were playing this evening, Af. Was it playing something? Was it doing Legos? Was it doing cross stitch? I know that you've been doing a lot of cross stitching lately. Thank you for giving Af a shout out. I did get it on the third try. It was cross stitching. Oh, gotcha. How is that coming out tonight? What were you cross stitching? Also, please go follow Celestial Aphelion as well. Plug the Moth Father. We are making wands tonight because I am the crazy woodworm woman, and I like handling wood on life for everyone. If you need to read and run, do your after stream self-care app. I completely understand if you need to raid and run. But if you want to stay here and chill with us, I am more than happy to have you. Wood Fae, only sometimes. I'm not always a Wood Fae. I am actually the Fae of Lust and Fear. But for those of you who have only been, this is your first time being here, my name is Willow O'Wield, Scholar of Dream and Nightmare. The Fae Scholar, the Master Summoner, sus on main, and one hell of a woodcarver, if I do say so myself. I am happy to be your hostess for tonight. I am trying to not cut my finger while working on these. Those of you in the Mothfather server, I have been working on a lot of these wands lately, so let me get the ones that I have finished. I have one soaking right now, so that way it's easier for me to debark. I missed a spot on this one, damn it. So these are all of the ones I have finished processing. I'm currently working on some more. I have 2 in the lumber mill that I am currently working on. Thank you! I'm really enjoying playing with my wood, right now. It is kind of an obnoxious hobby. I came from raid into Af stream from friend doing a cosplay craft stream, then chill with after in the cross-stitching, and now we're here seeing you handle wood with the utmost dexterity and grace. I try to have some semblance of grace when it comes to handling my wood for the population. Only for you guys, though, do I handle my wood this carefully. I think this one definitely needs to soak some more before I can get it to a point that I can start whittling it down. I could try, because it's a process in and of itself. Like, usually I am hunched over a chair outside of the court, because I need to lean in and put a lot of pressure into whittling these down to a point. You'd think I would have learned to use my hand planer, my hand planer instead while doing these, but nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh, nuh-uh, shut up, nuh-uh, nuh-uh, shut up, nuh-uh. Oh, those of you who are coming in from the Mothman as well, we do have an April subathon coming up next month as well, where you can win fabulous prizes like sea pancakes, you can win an oracle card, you can win getting a D&D monster off of you. I believe I heard you referring to yourself in the feminine. Just want to make sure, how may I refer to you? She, her, fae. She, her, fae. There we go. You can call me Willow, you can call me woman. I have a friend who calls me woman windowsill. I have another moth friend who calls me flat, or just flat bitch. Their role is just to harass me in the Discord server and bully me affectionately. Yeah, come on. Alright, I don't think this was the one that peeled like a banana, though. Not this one, I don't think. I do love doing these crafting streams with you guys, because it does let me share a little bit of some of my true passions with you. Again, I think that I am a artist who sometimes plays video games instead of a gamer who sometimes crafts. I call her this. I call her the storyteller. That way, I can say, "Tell the story, storyteller." You know what? That is acceptable. Apologies if I ever screw up. I don't mean to be rude. I'm just a dumbass. It's okay. I too am a dumbass. I can prove that with most of my streams. But as you probably guessed from seeing the title of the stream, yes, I am a witch. I have been a practicing pagan for, I want to say, at least 7 years now? Actually, it might be more 10. Because it started when I was first in university and took a class on world mythology and folklore. That was kind of my witchy awakening. Brainless together strong, ape together strong, ape together strong, or in this case, wisps together strong. Or in Warframe, we all live together. Oh my god, I have to tell you a funny, tangentially Warframe related story before I get back to the witch stuff. So I was at a job interview, because much like Larry from Pokemon, I need to work and get more money. I was at a job interview, and they were asking me at the interview, what are some of your greatest strengths and weaknesses? I said one of my greatest strengths is being able to work with other people in a professional setting, because if a good company, we all lift together. We all take on the burdens together to be successful. And when I told Indy that I used a Warframe reference in my professional interview, he just gave me the look of, "You did what now?" Now, one of the people who was interviewing me was definitely a nerd, so I'm hoping that if they picked up from it being from Warframe, they would just give me, like, a silent nod of approval. But I don't think they caught it. I don't think they played Warframe. Now, that's a power move. No, a power move is how I was able to utilize playing Dungeons and Dragons in my resume. That is a power move. And the interviewers actually did ask me about my tabletop hobby, and were genuinely interested in it. I didn't get the job, unfortunately. You can do that, yes. So, how I framed it in a professional context is that, okay, so I think it's a little bit of a risky move, depending on where you are applying to. But this was a pretty low-key, chill position where there's a bunch of nerds who work there. So I framed it that from tabletop gaming, I learned conflict management, cooperation, how to be stern on rules, but also flexible. You actually do learn a lot of stuff from playing tabletop RPGs. It's all about context. Don't say that you're a dungeon master. Say something else. So they didn't ask me if I was the DM. I said simply, these are the skills that I have learned from playing these games and how they can be applied to a professional setting. And you know what? They were really into it. They were asking, like, why don't we have, like, a D&D club that meets here or something? That would be great for the youth. To be fair, you learn a lot from being both a DM and a player. You quite do. So I think until I get a chance to do some more soaking of this in the bathtub, aka the soak tank, I think that's as good as we're going to be able to do that one. However, I have all of these blank ones, and I'm wondering to myself what these should look like. Now, I know one of them wants to have scales. I just have to remember which one. You can potentially learn how to hurt cats! Yes, you do. Okay, I need to... No, this one... That's a pine one. This one I need to shave off a couple inches. Was it the red cedar one? Okay, no. Yeah, that one's definitely red cedar. Not the river birch one. Violently scribbling, good with hands, and good at listening to others because I play jazz sax from time to time. Exactly! Now you're using your noodle! I think it was this one that wanted the dragon scales. This was Ashwood. It wasn't the ash wand. And this was another pine wand. We are going to go to a quick break so I can clean up my workspace a little bit. Don't go anywhere. This is also so I can just put in my wood burning tools so that way it can start to heat up. We will be right back, darlings. Don't go nowhere. Alright, I have returned with snacks, because I am constantly hungry. Oh, thank you for the hydration, Juan. Hydration complete. Yippee! What am I looking for? There you are. So, I said that every wand has a spirit to it. Now, as a practicing witch, I try to bring out the essence to each piece that I work on. Whether it be one of the staves, whether it be a wand. At one point I tried to make some wooden pendulums, but they didn't quite work very well, unfortunately, so I had to scrap that idea. I think for this pine piece, I am going to do some dragon scales to it. Which normally I just freehand them with my wood burner, but right now it is in process of warming up for a couple of minutes. Normally I don't do wood burning on something this small. There you are. At least I don't do dragon scales on something this tiny. The dragon scale patterns always look really good no matter what I decide to put them on, though. Because I have a couple that I have for children that also have the dragon scale designs on them, though I want these ones to be a little bit more refined. I know next to nothing about modern witchcraft or paganism color me interested. I am always happy to answer any questions that you may have. I am one person in a very large ocean of information. So it is likely that I will not have all the answers, but I at least consider myself relatively knowledgeable about various subject matters. Indy can vouch for this. Like, maybe not witchcraft, but I have bored him far too many times with random Disney information. If that tells you how much of a collective above useless crap that I know. But I am open to any all questions. For reference, I consider myself a heathen, which is a practitioner of the Norse pantheon. Also sometimes called a satru. The people I know normally just call themselves heathens for anything relating to the Norse pantheon. So with the Norse pantheon, you have your big players like Loki, Thor, Odin, yada yada. I actually have an Odin reliquary that I have made already, which I am bringing to my future craft fairs. Odin in particular was really difficult to make a reliquary for, honest to goodness. He was very particular about the designs and patterns that he wanted. He distinctly said he wanted a Valknut on the forehead, which I had to pretty much get a pattern for off of the internet, trace out, and embed into his noggin here, which was quite annoying because it's quite a complex design and my hands are really shaky at most times. But I think it came out very good. Now, I don't personally work with any of the big three. No. While I can talk to them, and I do hear their voices from time to time. Yes, I am one of those people. I wouldn't call myself a medium. I wouldn't call myself a spirit medium or a shaman by any words necessarily. I do hear voices, mostly from the staves and the wands that I work with. But in terms of the Norse pantheon, I work primarily with Hel, the goddess of the underworld, and Freyr, god of the hunt and of the light fae. Hel is a stern woman of character. I wouldn't doubt that a giantess relating to the realm of the dead would be a ha ha ho ho holly jolly Santa Claus type character. She is pretty stern. However, that does not mean she is unkind. She is bluntly honest, but it comes from a place of motherly kindness. No worries, this is all very interesting. Oh, I know, definitely. Like, even from a youngin' age, I was deep, and I mean like 5 fingers deep, into mythology. I think it honestly started with, like, the stories behind constellations. Like, I was big into the mythology behind modern constellations, so Big Dipper, Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, Orion the Hunter. Like, there was like one book I checked out from the library about constellations and the mythology behind them consistently. Like, every single week for like a good 2 months. That was the only book that I would check out of the library. And it got to the point where the school librarians were like, "Are you checking out that book again, Willow?" "Uh-huh." "Are you gonna check out anything else?" "Nuh-uh." I was that weird Archfae even from growing up. But with that, so I do look up also a lot of the mythological correlations of the wood that I am working with, because different traditions have different beliefs on the various trees that grow in the world. For example, I believe that the world tree in Norse mythology, which connects 9 different realms, so the realm of giants, light elves, dark elves, humans, gods, the dwarves. There's like the dwarves, the dead. There's like 9 realms completely to the world tree. And the world tree is believed to be an elm tree. I've heard elm, I've heard elm, I've heard oak. I've never heard pine as what the world tree actually is. So, whenever I find, say, a piece of wood that is supposedly belongs to one of, like, the big sacred trees of some sort of mythology, I will always try to use the correlation of that wood with the magical properties of what I am trying to craft from it. So this one is pine. I have like 6 pine wands that I sanded down to oblivion the other day. And pine doesn't necessarily have to do with cleansing, but pine often has a very masculine association with a very masculine energy behind it. So I decided, instead of going with an air, an earth, or a water motif to this one, I would do a fire motif. Since pine is associated with masculine energy, and dragons are often associated with fire, makes sense. All I know pertaining to the Norse pantheon when it comes to wood is that men were shaped from ashwood and women were shaped from elm. Although my source could be wrong, I've never read the Eddas or consulted with a modern practitioner such as yourself. I wouldn't even call myself like a hardcore practitioner. I just know bits and pieces. I just know bits and pieces scattered through the realms. Like, there are people who are far more knowledgeable than me. If anything, I'm more knowledgeable just in random fairy lore. That's like my big hyperfixation. I mean, I am an Archfae after all, so it makes sense. Also, the hyperfixation comes also from my tabletop RPGs. If I can't make a character that has anything to do with the Fae folk, I riot. That's not a joke. I actually do. Alright, I think we got the scales almost D-U-N done. Not D-U-M dumb, D-U-N done. Alright. Making sure... I'm not sure what color I want to make this one tonight. Because the coloring and staining process is a whole different bag. Because I've got like 7, more like 10 different types of wood stain. Like, some of the wands want to be painted. Some of them just want to be wood burned. Some want to be painted and wood burned. Some just want a stain job. Some want glitter paint. I really hope none of them want glitter paint, though. I will not be happy. Let's make sure that the wood burning tool is heated up and ready to go. There we go. Pine is really good also for wood burning, so if you're getting into the wood burning hobby, I definitely suggest getting yourself a cheap length of pine and just using it to practice. Though, everyone has a different type of wood that they like working with the most. Pine and red cedar are just my two preferences because they are fairly easy to find where I am in the Feywilds. It's not like I'm going to be playing with ironwood. Oh, goodness gracious me. Never ironwood. I think I will explode if I ever touch that shit. Okay, now I can definitely smell the pine coming off of this thing. Like, I didn't really smell it before because it was nice and dried, but when you start burning it, that's when you can smell the pine resin. I do. Pine is my favorite tree. Pine is my favorite tree along with silver birch. Those are like my two favorite trees. Silver birch just because the bark looks really pretty. I don't have a length of silver birch right now. I think if I did, I would be so incredibly scared in working with it. Not because it's a bad or a weak wood, but because I love that silver bark that it has, where it gets the name silver birch. The reason why we'd be terrified of working with it is because it is so paper thin and easy to remove that I don't know if I would be able to make a staff reliably out of it to keep the birch wood. Not a woodworker myself, but I think working with ebony, simply for the fact it's so dense and heavy, would be a nightmare to work with. Also expensive. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there are some hobbies that are way too expensive, like falconry. I have said on multiple points that if money was not an object for me, and I can choose any hobby in the world, I would choose falconry. That way I can have a little buddy perching on my shoulder so we can look at people and sneer at them knowing that we're so much better than them. No, that's Tana. That's my summoner character. I don't think I'm that uppity most times. It's a lost art, unfortunately. It really is. And that's also kind of why I do the woodworking. So that way I feel like you don't find a lot of people who do it. Well, that might not even be true because every time I go to a Ren fair, I see people doing woodworking. So might not be as outdated of a craft as I think it is. Then again, Ren fairs might just be where the weirdos all flock to, so all of us with our hyper-focuses just decide, hey, this is a good place to set up for our ADHD friends. Here you go. Here's my hyperfixation for the past 12 months. Damn you, modern need for money! Listen, it's not my fault the modern world doesn't take souls as payment most days. It's not my fault that the going rate of one human soul is 1 cupcake. Like, I tried to pay a human merchant with, 3 cupcakes the other day, for a pizza, and they laughed at me. Listen, 3 cupcakes of human souls for a barbecue chicken pizza is perfectly equatable in the courts. I don't know what to tell you. That is completely legal tender. And I am disappointed in you nerds for not accepting my currency. There we go. There we go. Come on, you. Just have to make sure with these wands that any sort of etchings that I do to it, I do not fuck up. Because if I mess up even once, I have to throw this into the fire pit and start from step 1. I have to go find another length of pine, re-debark it, and put in the time and effort all over again, thus wasting my energy.
1 cupcake per meal for the day for 1 full meal plus leftover sounds like a fair deal to me.
Speaking of meals, I made myself again today a wonderful slow cooker curry recipe that I have been absolutely addicted to for like for the past couple of months now. And it is so good. I decided to try it this time with a spicier type of pepper than I normally use, along with a Thai style chicken broth. That sounds so good. Ugh, it's so good. I don't think I got enough chicken in it, and I don't think I put enough broth because normally I can make like a couple of days worth of soup out of it. But if I really wanted to today, I probably could have eaten the whole slow cooker's worth of soup. Listen, no one tells you just how good soup is. There's something good about a good soup that just hits really hard. It was either today I was going to make soup or jambalaya, one of the two. Jambalaya will be tomorrow's dinner when I don't have to stream. Alright, got you. There we go. Oh, that is some good hand feeling. Another reason why I do the wood burning on a bunch of products is for people who have sensory issues. I know a lot of people just like to touch things because they feel really nice in your hands. So I started including more woodworking and more wood burning into my wands and my staves, so that way people could feel the product better.
Did you see the food I made during the call 2 days ago? The one where I was muted? Yes, I did. I want to eat the foodlage. First thing I learned how to make on my own was an onion and potato soup just because I had a lot of potatoes and onions laying around. Didn't want them to go to waste.
Yeah, that makes sense. I also have I've been using my slow cooker a lot, honestly. I don't know if that says if I'm lazy about making my dinners for the week or what, but I'm a busy Archfae. I don't have time to sit at my stove for like an hour and a half a day. I'm just gonna make like a whole batch of food and have it for the whole week. That soup does sound really tasty, though, by the way. Just remember, making soup in a slow cooker is technically a witchcraft. Here is why. You throw meat, herbs, spices, and water into a cauldron on high temperatures and let it simmer. These spells are passed down to generations upon generations in an old crunchy grimoire through entire family generations. Therefore, soup is witchcraft. Just remember that. Lazy? Nah. Proactive? Yes. Because if I throw it in a cauldron, I mean a slow cooker, I can do like 3 or 4 other things during my day and not have to wait around like a lazy bum. Granted, whenever I go out of the castle, I will never put my slow cooker on because I am worried about burning the place down. So I'll only use the slow cooker when I'm actively home. Cooking is absolutely witchcraft, especially with soups and stews. Listen, Grandpa Noggle, if you ever want to get into witchcraft, but are shy about it, check out kitchen witchcraft. That is a whole practice. It's literally using magic with cooking. Because I don't know about you, something that a lot of people forget is that the food that we put into our bodies not only gives us physical energy, but spiritual. And everything from poultry and game to apples and pumpkins and everything in between does have a spiritual and metaphysical connotation to it. Like, I'm trying to think. There are whole recipe books just on kitchen witchcraft. For example, you can enchant a wooden spoon with uh healing magic, so that way whenever you use your wooden spoon to cook something, you are enchanting the food that you make with that healing magic. I was debating at one point on wood burning a set of kitchen utensils with sigils for someone so that way they could use it for kitchen witchcraft. But honestly, I decided not to because I would have to find unfinished wooden cooking utensils that were food grade safe. And most of the ones that are food grade safe are already like they have a polymer finish to them so that way they don't warp or stain. So I would have to de-strip, degrease the entire thing and possibly ruin the item, and I don't want to do that. If I get better at whittling and woodworking, maybe. Because one of the things that I've wanted to get in for a while, but honestly I'm just way too baby scared to do it, is getting a table mounted lathe. I would love to use a wood lathe because then I can make things like bowls, I can make beveled edges to my wands and my staves. I think it would look really cool and bring my game up to like S tier from like a B tier. Unfortunately, they are just expensive, guys. Well, I don't think like the small table mounted ones are too expensive. I think they're like under $100, which isn't bad. Sorry about that flinch there. The rubber guard, the heat guard slipped, and I could feel my skin and flesh burning, which is not a pleasant thing. I might not be vulnerable to fire damage, but it still certainly hurts like a bitch. I'm pretty the times that I have been accidentally burned by my own tools doesn't leave scars at least. Since we've been on the idea of magics and such, I have a question for you, Staglum. How does powerful magics get applied to items? Is it a strong will or perhaps a powerful spirit? What is the key reason for being able to apply enchantments? Since we've been on the idea of magics, I have a question for you. How does powerful magic get applied to items? So, a common way to apply. No, I'll talk about it after the ad break ends because I wanna go into detail so that way no one loses any kind of information if they're taking notes. I'm looking at you wizards and you artificers out there, and I know you're note taking like the good noodles that you are, like the good boys and girls that I know you are. Oh, this smells absolutely delightful. Since we are still in ad break, I will be back in just one moment. Don't go anywhere.
Nice try at... Hold on a minute. Nice try at flustering, Willow. You shush about that. Andromeda Draco, thank you so much for the Prime subscription. Oh god, I'm getting mouthed. God, shit. No. No, away. Away with thee, person. Away with thee, moth creature of flight. Go bug aff. Go bug aff in the moth woods. Listen, I don't have a lamp. I don't have a lamp. Oh, thank you for getting us started on our hype train, my friend. Thank you so much. This is a complete aside, but your name reminds me of an old Ella Fitzgerald song, Willow, Weep for Me. Don't want you crying, though. I'd feel like shit and made anyone cry. No, you're good. You won't make me cry. But going back to Werecrab's question, how does powerful magic apply to items? So, there is numerous ways one can apply magic to items. I'm trying to find, of all things, a reference book that I have in the Thornwoods. I think I moved it to my personal library upstairs. Is that it? Is that the book I'm looking for? No, okay. So, one of the ways you can apply magics to items, there's a couple ways. The most common ones, though, are charging the item underneath the light of the full moon. The full moon is often said to have great magical, spiritual, and cleansing magic assigned to it, with each moon phase being associated with a particular energy. I usually charge my items once a month on the full moon just as regular maintenance, because that removes any sort of spiritual stagnant energy that may be left behind. It's okay, I'm technically a dragon mini at the moment. I just really like moths. Mothman. So, answer your first question. Moonlight is an easy charge method. However, another frequent one you will see is using moon water, which is just water that is charged under the full moon. I have a massive bottle of moon water that I have charged, and I use that every time I craft with my wood in order to cleanse the wood of any negative energies that might be lingering. Is it a strong will or perhaps a powerful spirit? Certain practices do utilize the combination of spirits, such as fae, elementals, dragons, ghosts, ancestor spirits. That is another way that people can enchant their tools. What is the key reason for being able to apply enchantments? So the key reason for applying enchantments is that you, as a magical practitioner, we have the energy to make changes to the world. There's energy all around us. The tools that we use and whatever purposes we have for their magical intentions is to channel that energy into our will. Magic is not like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, D&D. We just can't cast Fireball and cast Magic Missile at the darkness. Magic is much more subtle than that. What you think of magic is fiction. It's not the ability to conjure up spirits from the aether. It's not anything like the craft. Magic is subtle. It is flexible. There is tons of different energies around us, and our tools, whether they be wands, staves, or chalices, all have their own unique purpose and energy that we channel into them. I do have a question branching off about that moon, but I'll wait for you to finish. No, go ahead. Go. If only we could use magic like that. I think if, sweetie, listen, if we use magic like that in the mundane world, I think we would have another Empire of Light situation on our hands, and I don't think anyone wants that now. But going with the magical energy, I did bring up kitchen witchcraft, which is I don't want to say low effort, high yield type of magic, but it is a practical one, especially if you are not out and about with your pagan esoteric beliefs yet, or as many people call it, still in the broom closet. A lot of magic is subtle that you can do without big rituals. For example, wearing an amethyst necklace to ward off evil spirits, wearing a particular color clothing to attract good luck and money. That is called glamour magic, which is also a very common one. Phases of the moon also affect that. What does the blood moon do? Currently trying to figure out if it has a cause in what happened that night. Forgive me as I'm not very well versed in this. Is this a branch of Druidism, or I'm very curious? So, the information that I'm talking about is just like an overview. There is bleed over from various practices from one another. Most traditions you can't claim as closed practices most times because so many cultures practice similar beliefs. The moon having magic is a very commonplace thing over many different ancient civilizations. In regards to the blood moon is seen as a very powerful but chaotic energy. You can do magic relating to the blood moon. However, be prepared for the magic to not go exactly as planned. While it is powerful, you may want to use a word of caution before performing any sort of magic. Though there are chaos magicians, there are chaos witches, which I can't say I'm terribly knowledgeable about chaos magic practitioners, as I'm frankly way too orderly for chaos magic. But that is I believe chaos magic would probably get a good amount of usage out of a blood moon. As for if this is particular related to druidry, no, this is not in particular related to the practices of the Ovarts and Bards of the Druidic Order. At least not with the wands that I am working on. Wands are a tool that magical practitioners have been using since ancient times, pretty much since the times of the ancient Sumerians and Babylonians. The function of the wand is to redirect the energy around you, so that way you can subtly weave it to your needs. So it's a powerful but chaotic source of power, so it has no control over emotion or anything of that sort, at least on the human body itself. Metaphysically, the moon can affect people's emotional states. You are 90% water after all, and the pull of the moon does affect the tides. So I think that might be why it's believed that the moon does affect you to some degree. Now, I can't particularly say if that applies to me as an Archfae, since I am born of a particular emotion. But I have heard that being a thing that people do can possibly get a little haywire, a little cuckoo around the time of the full moon. I can't say much about it because I don't witness it, but in a world where the Fae exist and where we can call on dragons for assistance, honestly, I think anything is possible. Listen, I'm the one who literally hears trees talk to me, okay? Me being the magic snob about that kind of stuff when I can literally hear voices in the back of my head while I'm sleeping. I don't think I need to say anything. Alright, you coming to the bottom of this wand, just trying to make sure I don't burn myself. I tend to do my wood burnings also fairly deep with the patterns, just because I like running my fingers along the wood and feeling the patterns. Like I said before, I am working a lot more with wood burnt designs in my pieces for the visually impaired. And I've actually had a good number of clientele say that they appreciate that aspect. See, I was trying to determine if the blood moon was the cause of my rather agitated mood that night. It's possible. If it's popsicle, it's possible. So, we have all of the scale work done. Now, while the scale work on this one wasn't free-handed, I drew all of the scales prior. This is generally how all of my scale work items look. I sometimes do some more work on the scales with some individual shading, depending on what the actual piece wants me to. I think this one might honestly be a wee bit camera shy, because I'm not sure if I'm getting anything from it. Beautiful wand, by the way. Thank you! Thank you! I honestly do love how the dragon scale wands come out. It smells so good too. Woman, you don't need to sniff your wood. After I do the initial wood burning, I usually then go back a second time over the wood, because sometimes on my first run through on it, it's not thick enough to my liking, or it's too shallow, because I didn't press hard enough, because I was trying to make sure I was getting the lines exactly where they were. I'm a perfectionist. I'm far too much of a perfectionist to leave anything to chance. This is known about me. You would think that as a Fae, I am all about chaos. No, I am the opposite. I am honestly a Fae of order and law and logic. Emotion hurts my head. I like having things set in stone and knowing things as hard, irrefutable proof. Various pre-Christian paganisms of Europe to the Japanese Onmoji to the Yogi of the Indians who continent many titles bestowed on naturally attuned to the diverse nations of the Americas, and everything between. There are broad strokes similarities between most magical traditions from what I know. Reminds me a bit of Jung's theory of archetypes. Correct! That is exactly what it is like. Wild Hunt do work off laws, and the hunt makes sense. Exactly. I think I was actually discussing this with Indigo last night. He raised me an interesting question. What would a Fae of law and order look like? And I had to think on it deep and hard for a bit. Mostly because this was also, like, at right after D&D at, like, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. I had told him that if I had to design an Archfae of Law and Order, they would be dressed in neutral whites and beiges with a soft off shade of blue. They would have very neatly pressed symmetrical clothing, every crease, every seam being in its perfect place for maximum effect. Probably would have a lot of straight edges to their design. Everything has to be symmetrical. They would also probably use some sort of timepiece as a spellcasting focus as well. So, a pocket watch or a set of grandfather clock hands is what I thought. I was thinking also this because of Indy was playing No Straight Roads, and the final boss has a pair of swords that look like clock hands. Have you known all humans to be 100% law or 100% chaos? No. I have, well, most times. Unless you consider, they're serial killers, but I would believe they would be the minority instead of the majority. It's when my most philosophical questions come about past midnight. Is it because you don't need to sleep as a Draco Lich? Scales of justice, this is order, this is reality, everything must be balanced and kept in order. Do you think they'd be blind or have some sort of impairment in the eyes? I know the Illyrian Fae Lyle's truth is blind due to his star, and the impartialness of the natural world. Average human is around 80% law and 20% chaos. So, I'm reading your question over again, Draco. I think that they could be blind. Maybe if they were possibly corrupted, maybe they are blind, as in the truth is law is blind or rules are blind. However, if there was a blind Archfae of order and judgment, I could see them being blind or having no eyes, but having a third eye that sees the truth. Not needing to rely on physical sight, but being all-knowing by reading those in the room with a psychic aura. I think... Oh man, I might have to stat this up as an Archfae monster for D&D. I might just need to do this. Thank you, Andromeda, and thank you everyone for giving me the idea to introduce this character in Cadmorum. Indy, dead, I'm sorry in advance. Oh, don't worry, it's not like you're gonna fight them. It's not like you're gonna fight a Kraken Wraith either. Probably. Hopefully. It's not like I'm also gonna throw a Winged Tarrasque at you with a dash. Winged Tarrasque, moves, fly speed 40, give it a bonus dash action. Oh, I think I made oozes in 5th edition more frightening. Give them a bonus action dash. Because most of them can only move 20 feet. So if you see a piece of jello moving at you at like 40 miles an hour, run. Just run. Just do it. Go away. There is no hope for you. You will be eaten by a gelatin lunchbox monster. Just gobble you and dissolve your bones in gelatinous acid. There will be no trace of you left for the next dungeon delver. I feel like the Fae of Truth would be a trio of truth, justice, and just judgment. Truth, the just action, and the judgment based on what justice is deemed the just Take a shot every time someone says the word justice, wood, or fae tonight, because if I had a shot for every time someone said those words tonight, whoo boy, this would be a very, very different stream, let me tell you. That would be a 21 plus stream after hours subscription only. That would be on OnlyFae. That's where it would be. Wood, wad. Oh god. do a little bit of shading on the tip. I normally don't do too much shading. I don't feel confident in it quite as much as I should. Like, I'll do a little bit, but not to the extent that I've seen people with. But I think our first wand is looking pretty good, if you ask me, so I'm gonna put him to the side for now and grab another one of them that I have already processed. Right, so that was one of our pine wands, I want to say. Which one wants to be worked on next? As I eat some chips because I'm a hungry bitch. Oh. Let me see. I think this one's a pine one. I actually tend to see them as more feminine. Those needles they have always remind me of the fans for those fan dances. Oh, that's true. Different cultures have different associations with different trees. So, while a tree may be seen as masculine in one culture, it could be feminine energy in another. However, if something feels like it's more one way or the other to you, that might just be your own personal truth. There is no wrong or right in personal beliefs when it comes to paganism. As long as you're not doing harm or you're being respectful to people, I can honestly care less about how you interpret things in witchcraft, because just be nice. Just be nice to you so then I don't have to put you in a freezer spell. I don't want to put you in the jar. Not like that. Not that kind of jar. I mean a jar spell. Not the Gunnar jar. Alright, this one was River Birch. I think the River Birch one is just going to be a normal stain to it. Well, I'm not sure what I want to do with the River Birch. So let me put her to the side for now. I try to be neutral when it comes to what people believe. Oh, definitely. I think this one is a pine. Okay, these are the only... Alright, this is my ash one. This is my red cedar. Because one of the things you don't want to do with any kind of tool that you're working on is to rush the process. Like, if you're not getting a sense of what a particular item wants, put it to the side and let it bake for a while. Like, I have two products that I'm working on that I don't quite know what I want to do with them yet. One is going to be a broom, I think, and one is going to be a staff, or maybe both of them will be both brooms because they're pretty thin. I still don't quite know what I want to do with them, so I haven't rushed the process. Told me in one of my readings, learn all sides of the story before delivering judgment. Exactly. I do know that for at least one of these wands, probably for one of the thicker ones, so I can get some more detail on. Maybe on... No, not on the ash one. I think that one's too thin. So it would most likely be one of the pine wands that I would be doing. The idea is to have like vines wrapped around them, along with leaves that are branching out that I can later paint with paint and clear coat. So that way I have the natural browns of the wood with the popping out of the painted leaves. There we go. Alright, so I'm trying to see if I have a piece of paper that I can sketch the idea out first. Because I don't want to fuck it up. Like, that's the last thing I want to do is fucking stuff up. Oh, so here's another example of magic that is really simple that I'm going to demonstrate for you in live. So this is a sigil. It looks complicated. Some sigils can be complicated. There are many different methods, but a very simple method for crafting a sigil goes something like this. So let's say you're trying to do a spell or enchant an item to bring, I don't know, prosperity and creativity. You would write that out. Prosperity and creativity. And you would cross out all letters that repeat themselves. So P R S. No, S would be good. Prosper. E A I T Y, which would leave you with O S N D and C. So out of the remaining letters, you would create your own magical symbol. And it could pretty much look however you want. So let's say that we're going to use prosperity and creativity. If you guys want to use the sigil for anything, that's perfectly fine. This is just an example for you to experiment with. So we have two N's, which I am going to just double. So it looks like this. So that would take our two N's, our D, we would rotate around. Then comes... I always have a problem with how I should do S's. S always pisses me off. So, since we have a O and a C, a circle around it would represent everything. And then, I guess for the S, it would look like that. So if we were to use prosperity and creativity as our example, this is how our sigil would look. I'm not 100% happy with how that looks. You can organize your letters however you want. I forget what this sigil with the blue and green was. I think I had designed it to be a prosperity spell for this coming Ren Fair season. So that way I can put that on all of my price tags for my big ticket items. Wait, that's what I wanted the paper for. I didn't want to do glyph magic. I wanted to show you the idea that I was thinking for the next wand. So I really love doing
leaf patterns and lots of swirls. And I think the next wand, I'm going to make it very druidic focused, with leaves that are arching off of a central vine that wraps around the entirety. Something like this. Like that. That's something I think I will do on the next wand. Keep that in mind. Chances I'll use it are very low, but that is good to know. After all, knowledge is power. And that is why the library is the strongest place in the world. I can't take credit for that one. I think that was a Doctor Who thing. I think the leaf pattern is going to be the best on our pine bough. I'm never very good with curls, so I need to figure out a cheat way in order to get the right lines. I think I have a way. I just need to find a cord of leather. I don't think I have any leather cording next to me right now, though. Yep, I felt that in my ass cheeks. It's stronger than these. Is it stronger than these, though? Flexes muscles. How much is it muscle and how much is just flab underneath your exoskeleton wear crab? Trying to think how I want to have this go, because my original thought was on the more flat side, have that be where one of the leaves starts, and just slowly curve it down in a one big swooping motion on a slant. This is why it takes forever sometimes, because I'm bad with lines. Because I have to rotate the damn thing while I'm sketching. And sometimes I'll, like, over-sketch it, like I'll put too far of a line down where it shouldn't go, because then I have to go back and erase it before I do the wood burning, because I don't want to fuck it up at last minute and have an aneurysm on my perfection. Get rotated! Get rotated, nerds! There. You have all been properly rotated. Considering that I do manual labor every day, 4-hour work for 5 days a week, not much left, although I could definitely do better at keeping myself in shape. Round is a shape. A D20 is a shape. A D2 is a shape, although not one I often see used at the table. I agree, I need to be rounder. Listen, if you're round, that means you're friend-shaped. And if you're friend-shaped, no one will treat you as a threat. Oi, 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 oi! I'm not weak! Oi, 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 oi! I'm not your wife! Oh, you so small, Pat, Pat, Pat. Little child, small child. I'm not weak! Spinning cat meme. I don't have a cat. I don't have a spinning pussy. I do know which meme you're talking about with the spinning cat. Where did that even come from, though? I think that's the spinning cat meme. Wasn't that, like, from a video game or something, my guy? Alright, so let's see. Another part of, like, at least with the vine design, is me
trying to figure out where the leaves will actually go. Because from the start, I know that I want this leaf to be at the very top, at the tip. Don't make the jokes. Don't make the jokes about the tip of my wood. I know someone is thinking about it. And if not, well, then that's on me for making you think about it now. Shit! Gotta roll up my sleeves. So, you can't see it, but I am actually wearing a hoodie of a stingray right now. And those of you who know me know I absolutely love sea flaps. I mean, hello, do you see Briar over there in the corner just munching on the garland? I adore these sea idiots. I'm pretty sure Indy has said this multiple times. If you were a Disney character, Willow, you would be the crazy grandma from Moana. When I come back, I want to return as one of them. I'm the village crazy! That's my job! Although being friend-shaped, I'm still shocked people with my strength, even if my back can't handle the stuff that I pick up sometimes. Ah, the weight of the world, the burden of everyone's problems. You are a strong crab. Strong of body, strong of mind. A true friend-shaped friend of the Aminal Kingdom. I don't think they actually have were-crabs in D&D. I know they have lobster folk in, I believe it's Ghosts of Saltmarsh, but I don't think they actually have were-crabs. Pathfinder might have were-crabs, though. Pathfinder also has a Warframe expansion to it. They're called Carcona. Is that in Pathfinder? Are Carcona from Pathfinder? Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you for sending me the spinning cat meme, indeed. I was correct. That was the one I was thinking of. Good question. I don't remember. The shell rot is going to your brain. Oh no, the brain rot is truly real. I thought it only afflicted Draco Liches first. I guess it also affects lycanthropes. Alright, get rotated. I also have another type of wand that I do something similar for this too. I also make wands for children, which are more like for playing make-believe rather than actual magical tools. What I do for those ones is I will spin hot glue around the wood, so that way it looks like a spiral unicorn horn. Maybe with one of the thicker new pieces of wood, I might actually try to carve it so it looks like a unicorn horn. That might actually be pretty interesting. Caracon, okay. It's not Pathfinder, it's a sci-fi MMO thing from Paizo. Oh, Starfinder! You're thinking Starfinder, yes, love? Because Starfinder is just pretty much Pathfinder in space. I am interested to see how the Warframe conversion for Starfinder is like, though. As far as I know, I haven't seen any live plays actually play it, nor have I seen the dev team play it. Honestly, that would be really fun to see, like, the dev team for Warframe play the TTRPG Starfinder version of it. I thought it was Starfinder, but I didn't want to say that and turn out to be wrong. No, it is a Starfinder expansion. It is a Starfinder book for Warframe. I I think when I first found out about that they were doing that, I decided out of complete and utter boredom to see if I could make warframes in Daggerheart, and surprisingly, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to make a warframe in Daggerheart. All you have to do is use a clank as a base, and then depending on what frame you're trying to make, you just use another race for a mixed ancestry. Though I think it's Daggerheart is honestly pretty easy to make a character, and it's importing the information over to Roll20 that is the actual hard part. And we'll do a little bit of shading around the base, because I kind of like how... Okay, this is definitely... Okay, I think, yeah, this one is definitely part of the red... I think this one is definitely red cedar, because I'm burning part of it, and I can smell that distinct red cedar scent. I think. No, that's a pine. That's a pine bough. Alright, we got that done. So we have the basic vine spiral. I know that looks like a finger. I will fix the finger so it is not flipping me off. I will not have my work giving me the finger. I am the only one who is allowed to finger others. There we go. So, we have the main vine done. I'll probably make it thicker. Just gotta figure out how I want all of these smaller ones to curve. That's like half of the issue is me trying to find where I want it. So looking further into Caracons, there are two subspecies, shallows and deep sea. Which species? Given from what I know, I will say deep sea. I will say deep sea Caracon for you. Now I'm thinking. You know what? What do I need to do? No matter what wand I do, I need to do my personal sigil of excellence on the handle. Hold on, I gotta like hold it at a really weird thumbing angle. And then just like really press it in. Sometimes it... Yay! I did it correctly! Ma'am! Oh, don't you ma'am me, Envy. Don't you ma'am me. You enjoy it. You enjoy these magic fingers now, don't you? Rapushigi! Okay, so... I know I said I wanted to do a branch on it. Now I'm thinking maybe I should also... No, we'll do a runic wand another time. I feel like a rune wand would be cool, just not on this one. Just gotta... I have to draw the leaves. I can't just like freeball them. Just because I don't want to fuck it up. And even then, sometimes I still make accidents, but I gotta remember what Bob Ross says. Happy accidents, Willow. Happy accidents. It doesn't have to be perfect. Lies! Lies and slander. It has to be perfect. God, I sound like Death the Kid. It has to be symmetrical! That's a show I never got into, Soul Eater. I feel like if I watched it today, I would. I feel like if I watched it today, I would get into it, but at the time that it came out. I just couldn't get into it. I didn't like the art style. Oh, I will say, if you want a interesting series that includes a lot of real life magical practices, since I am on a binge about just general magic from across the known and unknown realms, if you want a series that pays good respect to magical practitioners across the world, Ancient Magus Bride, my god, I have never been so enamored with an anime before. Ancient Magus Bride is so goddamn pretty. Graham! It's a Graham! Hi, Graham! How are you doing? I've been trying to pop in and say hi, but my cat got stuck on a lanyard that was hanging on the wall. Oh no, kitty! Poor kitty! Hopefully your fur baby, your fur child is okay. How are you doing tonight, Graham? I hope the artwork that you were working on came out good. I saw you working on that a little bit on Discord. Hopefully you and Orion are doing well. Indeed, can we get a shout out to Grem as well tonight? Oh yeah, I finished it. I'm working on stickers now. Ah, what kind of stickers are you working on? If there is a Clodsire, I must see my mud puppy. Holographic ones. Ooh, pretty. Any sort of content, any sort of characters? Do spill the tea, girl. Also, hi, Indy. Yes, hi, Indy. Oh, Grim. So, I don't know if you watched I think it was the Emmys last night? I think it was the Emmys last night. And I'm pretty sure K-pop Demon Hunters won a bunch of awards, including, I think, maybe Best Music and Best Animated Picture? I think it won awards last night. There was, like... I think it beat out Zootopia 2 in the Best Animation category, which... Duh. We all knew that K-pop Demon Hunters was gonna do a sweep. Trying to make the... Yeah, they performed Golden last night as well. I was watching it with the mother and the father units, and they were like, Willow, do you know this song? What is this song? Where is it from? I'm like, have you not been paying attention to Netflix all this time? I'm like, how do you not know about K-pop Demon Hunters? Dad, you watch Netflix all the time. I like what you're making. Thank you, Graham. So, I have a bunch of wood. Look at me stroke my wood, Graham. I'm stroking my wood just for you. Shh, baby girl. It'll all be finished soon. So, I'm working on the second wand for the night, but this was the first, which we did with dragon scales. I have like 6 pine wands. I've got which one is this? Ashwood, a red cedar, and a metric fuck ton of pine wands because I found a broken pine bough next to my workshop, and I decided, bet I'm putting it to use. I forget the magical uses of a bunch of these woods. Birch is a good wand for cleansing. I believe birch is associated with the element of water and is a female, feminine aligned wood. Birch is good for magic relating to cleansing and new beginnings, which is why I decided to make a wand out of it. Gently caressing the wands to give them more comfortable with giving off energy. Yes, I am sensually touching the wood to bring out their inner essence. It's okay, baby girl. Let me whisper to the dryad. I totally put one on my altar. Hold on. Sorry, I was hydrating with berry acai. I will say, Grim, I am more than happy to do a commission for you if that is something you'd be interested in the future. Right now, I'm pretty prepared for my first show in June, so I am more than willing to do wand commissions. I've never done commissions for these things before, but I would be happy to open up my workshop for that. Let me do another one here. I'll just have to get back to you on that. Oh, yeah, for sure. I would also be happy to do a reliquary as well. I'll put this guy here for you. So that way I can have spooky crows watching me from the Aether. I do love how these came out, though. I am intending on doing another batch of these in the future, including, and I want to do this because I think they would look really cool, including a batch of ones for Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. I wanted to do them in the first batch, but I ran out of air dry cement for that one. The next batch of the reliquaries I do also, I might also try to incorporate crystals into them to give them an additional power boost. But I would have to play around with that more on the off season. That is a Willow is done making herself go crazy for the year, and she can just bullshit in the workshop. I honestly don't get the bullshit shit in my witch's workshop as much as I wish I could. Just because I'm pretty much like always on crunch time. Oh, here's another thing. With witchcraft. I almost said witchcraft for a minute. Crab and... Oh, who the fub was it? And Juan. There we go. Crab and Juan. Another thing with witchcraft that you can do is actually what I do, which is art witchcraft. And it does what it says on the tin. It's putting magical intention into the art you make, which I've been trying to do more of, if I can be transparent with you, because I find it relaxing. I try to put a little bit of magic into most of the projects that I work on. Not necessarily because they are magically inclined, but just because I think if you're going to show off a piece to people, it helps attract the energy you want them to feel. At least that's what I think. Like, with all of my pieces that I've been making, as of late at least, as far as I can tell, I've been doing a lot of Agam and rune work in them, just to bring a little bit more of a magical vibe to them. Not all the time. You can't see it on the, where are you? There's Odin. You can't see it on the Odin reliquary I did, but on the eye that's supposed to be his blind side, I did put the rune for prophecy on the underside. So it is accurate to the lore. I also tried with that reliquary to put it on the correct side where he did lose his eye, so hopefully I did that correctly. Sorry, Odin, if I got that wrong. I'm trying to see
Okay, that one curves that way, that one curves that way. Let's try this. Because there's this big tract of land that I want to fill up. Just gotta make sure, like, I don't make it too big in case I want to add more stuff. Catch you later. No worries, Crab Man. You have a good evening. Hopefully you enjoyed your time here. I will probably be on in the Thornwoods in a little bit to do Warframe, Nightingale, what the fuck ever I want to do, because I am indecisive. I'm also indecisive about what I should do on Wednesday. Unsure what to do on Wednesday. It might be Wizard with a Gun, it might be more Warframe, it might be... I've been meaning to play Once Upon a Katamari on stream. I just haven't had the motivation to, so maybe I'll finally get my ass into high gear and finally play Once Upon a Katamari. I heard Warframe! As soon as I said Warframe, it's like, right, I'ma go, and hello there! Hello there, Tenno! No, I was just thinking aloud on what I should do for the Wednesday stream, because I've completed Duviri, so I now have to do 1999 and the Hex. Which I know people want me to do the dating simulator. I'll get to it, goddammit. I'll get to it before TennoCon. Chill the fub out. There's my pencil. Let's do it this way. It's like I have to follow the lines to try to be semi-organic. Doesn't always work, but I at least try to get the look. Mainly just want you to do so you can get the absolute baller rewards from it. Like Lizzie? Like the sentient guitar? I do have to say I did like the story for Duviri. Even better than Lizzie. Oh, say no more, fam. That is a high bar. I know that someone on the Thornwoods, their weirdest hear me out is Lizzie. Free Archon shards. I don't know what Archon shards are, so I'm gonna pretend I know what you're talking about. I do remember I think I had to fight 2 Archons in New War. Was that it? There was like a wolf Archon, a snake Archon, and an owl? I think that's what it was. Cypher? Okay, yeah, Cypher's the one who's weirdest hear me out is a guitar. I mean, people are attracted to Transformers, so I'm not gonna judge, but, to be fair, I think my weirdest hear me out is the Mouth of Mordremoth from Guild Wars 2. Ask Noctiv about that one, and he will be like, Willow, what is wrong with you? All I can say is, dem coils. Alright, get that. I don't know what these little nubbins are supposed to be on the tips of the leaves. I just think they're neat. That's a leaf, that's also a leaf. I don't want to do a leaf in the same rotation in the same way. But I would like to take up all that space. Extra energy, health, parkour speed, extra toxin, ability strength, so on and so forth. Damn, those do sound very good. So let's have this one just go straight in the air like you just don't care. Make this a pretty slender one. We're talking like Slender Man levels of slim. Crack into a Slim Jim levels of slim. Who is Jim and why is he so slim?
And why do you want to crack him like a glow stick? You gotta tell me this, guys! This is a big fucking deal! God, I feel like I was channeling my inner Bitsy from Legends of Elantris there. I'm wondering if you could use memes as a source of witchcraft. You know what? I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think of meme witchcraft. Though I guess technically that would apply as chaos magic. Most likely, at least. Don't mind me. I'ma just take my wands and flee. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright, so I need to get this internal line correct. If people like the wand streams enough, I might do another batch of these. Another round of wand making streams in the future. You guys seem to like it, so it's a high possibility. Okay, we've got that one, that one. Let's put the little nub. I think on this wand, I want to say this is the hilt or the handle. I think on the handle I am going to also wood burn some Celtic Agam. I get a very druidic vibe from this one in particular. I wouldn't say for any particular reason, I guess just the hashtag vibes are right. Another one is probably going to... I want to make wands for different practices, because every person is different, and why should the wands be the same? Let's see. Let's make... I'll make you... Will I make you bend backwards? No. We'll make you go like this. Just a very slim one to take up the space. Pine wood smell. I will consume the pine smoke. I'm probably gonna have irritation in my eye holes by tomorrow morning because of the pine smoke, but you know what? It's worth it. I don't think I'm necessarily allergic to pine. I just have really hypersensitive skin, which sucks. Especially when I go to, like, the beach or anything, I will, like, burn in, like, 2 seconds. So I will legitimately feel my flesh burning the longer I stand in the sun. It is not fun. Let's do one leaf there. Now I'm also thinking, should I do a staff with this pattern on it? I'm curious to know what you guys would think of that. I also once tried to make a staff out of a length of ivy that was choking out a tree by me. I believe the length of ivy that I made into a staff was one of my first, and I didn't carve that one. I painted it so it looked like something out of a Tim Burton movie. So black and white stripes, it glowed green and blue in the dark. It sold very, very quickly. And like I said, it was one of my first ones I made, along with another one that looked like a snake. Aptly, I named that one Jormungandr because, duh. I did have to carve Jormungandr a little bit for the eye hole, though. Let me put some more leaves at the tip. I think I need another leaf here to fill in the blanks. And honestly, how I do the leaf pattern is no more different from how I do the scale patterns, just a little bit more spaced out. Well, a lot spaced out. Okay, so I feel like I could put one more here, like a tiny one right here. Like a really thin, curved one. I just have to make sure I'm precise about it, because the smaller ones, that's where you can really fuck up easily if you're not precise with your handiwork. And I try to not be so much of a perfectionist with these things, but it's honestly different being a perfectionist when you're selling a product and when it's just for you. Like, with the reliquaries, I had to make at least, like, 3 tester copies before I was happy with them. That's how obnoxious those ones were. Now, I know with the leaves, I'm going to do some scalloped vein work in them. So I don't want them to look so flat. Like that. They're not going to look this flat when done, because it's going to be painted. And I am excited for how this one is going to look when it's finished. Alright, that's a blank leaf. Just have to make sure I don't put, like, too many veins on them as well. And if you're gonna ask me what's the meaning behind the leaves, Willow, I don't know. I just think they're neat. Like, this is just a particular pattern I've done for trees and leaves in general for, like, the longest time. It's not elaborate, but it is my style. And for that, I will always keep that. Though I was talking about sigil magic before, and I showed you guys how to make the one for prosperity and creativity. I have my own personal sigil that I use that is very, very easy, and I will use a marker to show it. It is simply a spiral with a line that crosses through. Now, it's not elaborate, but it does have a meaning behind it. So, the spiral represents an ever-winding path that you take through your life. It weaves and it goes on and on forever. However, the line is to show that you can stop whenever you want and take another path to continue. Your path is not the same as your neighbor's. The journey you take is unique to you as a person of the universe. And whatever path you decide to walk, well, it's always certainly going to be filled with a unique magic. With that said, we have gotten 2 wands done tonight, both very unique appearances. I am curious to know which one you guys like the most. The the dragon scale one, which was the first one that we did, or the druids focus. I honestly, I can't play favorites. It's like a mom asking for their favorite child. I don't want to do that. That seems mean. I think that is going to be I think that is going to be the end of tonight. Let's stay around. I'm gonna see who is on right now. Let me see. Games. I want to see who is doing stuff tonight. Fluffy and young Selena. You know what? Let's go into. Oh, Zelda's playing. You know what? Let's go into Ronan Yu. I haven't raided him in a while. Alright, we are going to go raid into one of our followers, Ronan Yu, who tonight is playing Bellwright. I have no idea what Bellwright is, so we're gonna learn together. So hopefully you guys have a good evening. I will see you on Wednesday evening. Again, we might be playing Warframe, we might be doing, Wizard with a Gun. I haven't made any hard promises yet. Stick around as we go raid Ronan. Indy, however, will, I believe this week, meaning tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, he is going to be doing World of Warcraft with his raid season beginning on Thursday. So, hopefully I'll see you there. If you haven't already, please go and follow Indie White VT. He is precious, and I love the idiot. But I will see you on the other side next time. Stay weird, stay wild, and have a good rest of your evening.